To truly understand the idea of the end of days, first one must understand the message that was given. No matter if you choose to follow any single religious belief or not, the message is clear. The very thought that so many can exist today, and yet still not choose, or want to believe, that the future was in fact laid out in black and white, for all of humankind to know and understand. And yet, so many people still avoid hearing, or understanding, the simple words left, specifically for them. If anything should make you nervous about the future, it is that. Imagine what that may look like, when so many will suddenly have no choice but to come to terms with the end times they are facing, and not to understand what is really happening, or how they should now proceed. This is a thought that wakes me at night from my sleep. For those of us who have read the texts and are aware of what was said, fear tends to no longer be relevant. The last thing this information should ever do is bring you fear. Knowledge is power, and with great power, fear is never again an option. We bring your attention to Matthew 24. When Jesus was at the temple with his disciples came up to him to call his attention to its buildings. He asked,
"Do you see all of these things? Truly I tell you, not one stone here will be left on another. Every one will be thrown down."
Not one stone here will be left on another. Every one will be thrown down. As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately. They asked, "Tell us, when will this happen? And what will be the sign of your coming, and of the end of the age?" Jesus answered,
"Watch out, that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, claiming, 'I am the Messiah,' and will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginnings of the birthing pains."
All these things are just the beginning.
"Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death. You will be hated by all nations because of me."
It can all end right now.
At that time, many will turn away from the faith, and will betray and hate each other. Many false prophets will appear, and deceive many people. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world, as a testimony to all nations, and then, the end will come.
You will be hated by all nations, because of me. But the one who stands firm to the end, will be saved.
So, when you see standing in the holy place, the abomination that causes desolation, spoken of through the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let no one on the housetop go down to take anything out of the house. Let no one in the field go back to get their cloak. How dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. Pray that your flight will not take place in winter, or on the Sabbath. For then there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, nor ever to be equaled again.
For then there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world, until now, and never to be equaled again.
If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive, but for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened.
The days will be shortened.
At that time, if anyone says to you, "Look, here is the Messiah," or "There he is," do not believe it. For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. So you see, I have told you ahead of time. So if anyone tells you, "There he is, out in the wilderness," do not go out. Or, "Here he is, in the inner rooms," do not believe it.
No man can carry this weight alone. It is far too heavy.
For as lightning that comes from the east is visible even in the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. Then will appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then all the peoples of the earth will mourn, when they see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven, with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other.
Interpretations of this event often point to an object coming towards Earth. Some believe it to possibly be an asteroid or comet, while others point toward a solar flare coming from our sun. In both references, the catalyst of the event is not always clear. That is, however, if you choose to dismiss the Planet X, Nibiru theory. Those who have done the research, and are well aware of just how unalone we really are in the universe, already know what is coming. The only real question for these people is the date of the Nemesis system's arrival, and how exactly this other body will affect us, and the Earth.
Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at the door. Truly I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. But about that day or hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son. Only the Father knows. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing about what would happen, until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken, and the other left. 2 women will be grinding with a hand mill, one will be taken, and the other left. Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. But understand this. If the owner of the house had known at what time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his house be broken into. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. Who then is the faithful and wise servant, whom the master has put in charge of the servants in his household, to give them their food at the proper time? It will be good for that servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns. Truly I tell you, he will put him in charge of all his possessions. But suppose that servant is wicked, and says to himself, "My master is staying away a long time," and then begins to beat his fellow servants, and begins to eat and drink with drunkards. The master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he is not aware of. He will cut him to pieces, and assign him a place with the hypocrites, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right, and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you, since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you as a stranger and invite you in, or clothe you, when you needed clothing? When did we see you sick or in prison, and go to visit you? The king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Then he will say to those on his left, depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat, I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink, I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me. They also will answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry, or thirsty, or a stranger, or needing clothes, or sick or in prison, and did not help you? He will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. Then, they will go away to eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life.
So you see, now we have told you as well. God bless you all.
This has been the Confidential Report. For even more stories like this one, make sure to subscribe to our channel today. And please show your support by clicking the like button on this video. For even more stories and news you deserve to know the truth about, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching the Confidential Report.